Well, for more on Sunday's elections, I'm joined by Mark Weisbrot. He's the co-director of the Center for Economic and Policy Research. Mark, welcome to the broadcast. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
As we know, the polls that have been conducted lately say that voters are more than twice as likely to back the opposition in this election. Tell us what's led up to this. What's behind the animosity?
Well, you do have, obviously, you mentioned the problems with the economy. I think that's the biggest reason why the government is trailing in the polls. On the other hand, polls in Venezuela have not always been reliable. And there is a huge international campaign, and especially in the Western media, because it's led by the United States government and its allies, to try and discredit not only the government, but the elections themselves. The elections are clean. There's no doubt about the result when it's tallied. There never has been, actually, in the last 16 years. And, Jimmy Carter himself, an election expert and former U.S. president, said that Venezuela's electoral process is the best in the world. And of course, they've looked at more than 90 countries. So there's no doubt about that. But a lot of people are working very hard right now to create doubts in case the election result is disputed. And it could be close. It's very likely that the opposition won't do as well as these national polls that you cite, partly because the system, like the United States has with the U.S. Senate, gives some overrepresentation to rural areas. And so the opposition will not do probably as well as those polls show. So there's a lot of possibilities, a wide range of outcomes, and we don't know what the result is going to be, but everybody who is against this government and wants to get rid of it, which the United States has been trying to do for 15 years, is trying to create the impression that somehow the results are questionable.
Mark, you mentioned former President Carter. We know that the Carter Center and also the Organization of American States has been trying to monitor the elections, wants to monitor them. Will they be able to? And do you think the elections will be fair? I mean, you mentioned that a lot of other people are casting doubt. But at the end of the day, do you think they'll be fair?
Of course they will be. I mean, they have one of the most secure systems in the world, where they have an electronic system, and then the voter gets a receipt, a paper receipt, and looks at it and puts it in a ballot box, and then observers from opposition parties and everyone else gets to see, and a random sample is taken of over 54% of all the votes. And so it's very, very secure. Again, the OAS was not invited to observe the elections because the OAS, as everyone who pays attention to these things know, is dominated by the United States. And just a few years ago, in 2011, they actually overturned the results of the election in Haiti because the United States wanted to change the results of the presidential race. And this is very well known here, and it's known to anybody who follows elections in this hemisphere.
Mark,
but
let me ask you this
really
question.
Talks about it.
How does the election affect Venezuela's relationship with China? Venezuela and China recently signed a deal for a $5 billion loan designed to increase oil production. How will the turnout affect that relationship?
Oh, I don't think that it should. I mean, China's not involved in the internal politics of Venezuela, and so it will have, I think, a relationship with whatever government is there. So I don't really see how that would change.
Well, Mark Weisbrot, we really appreciate you, co-director of the Center for Economic and Policy Research. Thank you so much.